If you go to the first page of the most liked section in the map editor, you'll find, if you scroll to the bottom, a map by Swift Ninja called Isab's Labyrinth. If you've been in the Bloons community for a while, you'll remember this map, as Isab obviously played it in the past. Now, as you can probably tell with the usual stuff I do on this channel, I'm going to be doing a free play challenge on it and see how far I can get on Isab's Labyrinth. Now, obviously, since my last video and recording with OBS in Faster Forward, I've decided that maybe that isn't a very good idea, so I have made the switch from CapCut, which is a terrible, awful, garbage editing software, to DaVinci Resolve, so that I can actually, speed up footage properly. Now, I have no idea how to work this thing, and the audio is a little weird, so I'm actually still recording the audio on CapCut because it's the only thing it's good for, because otherwise in DaVinci Resolve, however, fret not, for I am working on fixing my audio now. I'm looking at a bunch of YouTube guides and hoping that one of them is actually going to work. Now, obviously, let's go over what exactly Isab's Labyrinth has to offer. In contrast to most other maps in BTD6, it trades space for an insanely long track length. However, there is zero track overlap, but all the balloons are very, very close together, so the PSUs on most of our towers will be pretty good. However, I do have not a lot of space to work with and no water on the map at all, so I'm going to have to use the Lord of the Abyss to get pops for my two water paragons, being the sub and the boat. As well as having not a lot of space for towers, I'm not going to have a lot of space for farming either, so I have to maximize the amount of small towers I can fit around my larger farming towers, such as my Monkeyopolis or the tier 5 banana farms. After placing my first free dart monkey, I get down my 200 banana farm, a second dart monkey, then two more farms. I eventually sell one of them to create a bank and get down a sniper and a Zealy to help out with defense. However, I do not get a Monkeyopolis after selling my bank at the end of round 29, because I was lying to you. You can't fit a Monkeyopolis on this map. I instead get down a BRF with $1 to spare, calling it close, am I right? But at least I am able to get it before round 30 begins, so I can get down lead bobbing power. I already have a Zealy, although an alchemist would be nice. Now with my newfound wealth and having bought a BRF, my defense is looking pretty solid for now, so I decide to place down an overclock. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you know that overclock plus BRF is vastly more cost efficient and space efficient than two BRFs, and the space efficiency is what I'm going to need here. After I forward my second BRF with this very strong combo, I get down whoop-de-dang-do a second overclock and start forwarding for my third BRF. And after I get number 3, number 4 is very quick to follow, since at this point my income is pretty good. And even though the audio quality sucks in this video, I know, I'm gonna get around to it, I'd like to ask you to please subscribe. I'm trying to hit 10k by the end of the year, and I know tripling my sub count in a month and a half is unlikely to happen, but miracles do occur. After putting way too much faith in my Sniper Monkey Alchemist duo, they are both tier 3s by the way, I somehow managed to afford the Banana Central on round 55. This is going to be an enormous boost to my income generation and is likely what is going to make the most money in this challenge. The Banana Central is simply that good. At base, I think it makes like $6,000 per round. Crosspath with a middle crosspath gets $7,800 per round, and adding Ultra Boost onto it increases that to like $25,000. So it pays itself off in 4 rounds, which is very, very good, and then proceeds to make another $25,000 per round. This is enough to afford most Paragons in very, very short times with just this farm alone. Next step after affording the Banana Central is to afford the Monkey Wall Street, which unfortunately is just slightly too far away to be able to collect the crates from the Banana Central for me. I am sad. After these two tier 5 banana farms have been afforded, my next step is a bunch of snipers, an Ultra Boost, and a random ass druid that I probably should have placed next to my Banana Central for extra income. I mean, I make mistakes, but this is what I get for having an IQ lower than the amount of friends I have, and since I'm a loser who plays BTD6 all day, that's not very hard to believe. Wow, my audio is terrible. I just listened back to it, and this is a torture method, really. I swear. Honestly, it's just probably worth it to just put this video on mute and watch the visuals. Anyhow, I finally get the third tier 5 banana farm, and my farm setup is now complete. I'm going to stick with this for quite a few more rounds, so I can generate the maximum amount of money possible, because if I won't be able to afford all the Paragons, I'm probably not going to make it to the highest rounds. I somehow survived about around 100 with the Spirit of the Forest Vine Rupture ability, and after the brutal and very, very close call that was the late 110s, I decided to sell one of my tier 4 snipers for a Master Bomber to get pops for my Ninja Paragon. Now you might be thinking to yourself, Master Bomber, don't you mean Grand Saboteur? No, actually, because the Master Bomber right now is more useful. With my now Ultra Boosted Master Bomber, I clear most of the rounds very, very easily. In fact, it's so good at both stalling and doing damage that it immediately sends to S tier, beats round 5000 all by itself without even standing up, because it is just sitting down. It's simply that good. It becomes a national celebrity. It is cemented as the greatest thing to have ever existed, and every year on the 20th of September we celebrate Master Bomber Day, except no, because stalling is not good enough, and I need an absolute 0. My setup is complete, right? I am able to survive the next 3000 rounds, except no, because apparently Past me decided that I should get pops for my Boomerang Paragon as well and sabotage my farming even more. So I decided to get down a bottom path Boomerang tier 5 to get pops, because why the heck not at this point? I mean, money just doesn't matter. Well, I wasn't going to be using that later for auxiliary buy anyway. It's fine, you can just take that. Now, finally, my setup is done for now, and with the exception of these 3 towers, I can keep on farming. Except no, because I sell another sniper for a freaking Inferno Ring. What am I doing? Am I farming, or am I damaging pops? I don't know. Who cares at this point? Have these snipers even paid themselves off? But now I can finally keep on stalling for my setup, right? Yeah, you already know what's going to happen at this point. I just decide to throw all possible means of stalling setups to the wind and get down a degree 86 Boomerang Paragon. I mean, yes, there's stalls and I was having trouble defending, but I could have just put down some more cheap stalling towers and let my Master Bomber and Glaive Dominus just take care of the rest. What am I doing? Run 168 rolls around. Stalling? I've never heard of it. Degree 80 something Ninja Paragon. Okay, you know what? I'm just done with this point. You know what? Damage stall setups can exist. Hybrid, who knows? By round 200, I now have 4 Paragons on the field. The Engi, Tac, Boomerang, and Ninja, and all of them are here to stay. The Engineer, I am going to get relatively early, not because it has to overclock itself for the extra 600% attack speed. That can happen in like no time at all now, it got buffed. I'm getting the Engineer Paragon now so it can be paired with the Ultra Boost to overclock 2 different things at once. Since the high degree Engineer Paragon it is, the lower the ability cooldowns, meaning that even though it's an overclock and it has the same duration as an overclock, at higher degrees, the ability refreshes faster, meaning it can have 100% uptime on anything, including other Paragons, which is very, very useful. You know how it is for the next 80 rounds. Pop gathering, Paragon getting, money. So much money. Did I say the Banana Central was good? I think the Banana Central is a little bit good, guys. It might be a little bit good. After 3 hours and 45 minutes, I finally achieved round 300. Good news, I am now able to completely reach the highest round on the challenge editor for this map. Bad news, I am 1/3 of the way through this recording. Let's skip to round 326, where I am just now affording my Spike Factory Paragon, where I place the spikes at the end of the map. Now, since the balloons are very, very close to each other at all times on this map, I have to find the perfect spot where the spike pile is going to stay and not be interfered with as the balloons travel around the track, but I am going to have to put it in a spot where it is going to hit the balloons as they exit the track. However, not too far back, because it's going to hit the balloons at the front, but not too far forward where it won't be as effective. Also, at this point, I have 2 of the squares complete. The middle one, which is literally just my Boomer and Ninja Paragon, I got those ages ago, and the top right one, which has a BTSG, my Ace Paragon, Middle Path Desperado tier 5 that I forget the name of because I'm terrible at video games and I'm now remembering it's Golden Justice. What a side tangent, I'm all saying this in one breath, help me now. A Permabrew and Cripple Mob for debuffs, because plus 5 damage is just universally good. By round 360, I am still fine, because you can never have enough money, except no, because I am actually, at the end of this round, going to be selling the Banana Central that has afforded pretty much like half my defense at this point, and replacing it with a monkey. The Super Monkey, because I'm going to turn this into a support temple to buff my BTSG, because the BTSG is the strongest tower I have in the field, and any additional buff I can give it, while also doing damage, is going to be very useful. I also placed down a Mad Elite Defender. I placed down a few tech bots for quality of life purposes, since those are technically allowed in powerless free play, and to top it all off, a Blue Master Alchemist, because why the heck should anything else get first place in pops? In the bottom left corner, I have the top and middle path tier 5 villagers for attack speed. I have the Super Biddle for quite a large amount of debuff range. I give it the bottom crossbar so it can actually, see more of the map, which is more useful than having it as more attack speed. Plus it's in the range of the VTSG, so it has more range anyway. I have Ezeli in the bottom left corner, mostly because, her hex, but also, interestingly, the Final Harmonic. And the Final Harmonic is purely there to reduce Ezeli's cooldown. That's its only purpose. I also have a Glue Storm for +3 damage sometimes, I don't know. I mean, he's kind of just vibing, he's there. And I also have the Spy Factory Paragon, which I've already bought before. And in the top left square, I have literally every other Paragon except for the Dart, as well as the Cyber Lord of the Abyss to have the sub and boat Paragons in the water for. I have an Ultra Boost to boost my VTSG, and finally, to top it all off, an Elite Sniper to increase the attack speed of both the Elite Defender and my Triple Moab. This is the setup that I'm going to be finishing with, and eventually I'm going to slowly earn more money through my 2 support sacrifice temples. Well, one of them is a support sacrifice, the VTSG has a support sacrifice as default, so I'm going to be making $10,000 every round plus the Nabob. So I'm still making money for Ezeli rebuys, meaning that if this defense lasts long enough, I could potentially get to round 500. And passing round 400 isn't even that difficult. I just sit back, relax, and let the Paragons do their thing. No abilities used, but I might use some abilities. But right now, I don't have to be microing anything. And this continues for a very, very long time. Until my 3 IQ finally makes its way into the run, and for some reason, I just die on round 472. No big deal, I can just use the Time Machine mod to go back in time. Except, no. Because of course there's an except no at the end of the video. Apparently, Time Machine doesn't work properly with custom maps. Every time you exit out, it's going to reset the Time Machine and your game wouldn't have saved. Wouldn't you know, I had to leave round 472 because I was about to die. So whoop-de-dang-do. Now I'm just dead and now I have to either continue or restart. And since I'm not going to be remembering what the hell my abilities were, I just decide, unfortunately, that I'm going to have to call it for round 472. But how far can you get on Isab's Labyrinth? Well, when I died, I wasn't really microing optimally, I hadn't even been buying or reselling Ezeli, and I wasn't even microing Homeland Defense, so round 500 is very, very realistic. Am I going to do that again? No, this took 14 hours of recording. Kill me.